Well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Rose Tylinski and I am the Healing Arts Program Manager at the Health Museum. I hope you can all hear me well. I have my chat open. Just in case there's any questions or comments, anything, I'll be checking that regularly. But I'm so glad that you're able to spend some time with us today to learn more about the community exhibition that's going to happen at the Health Museum this fall. So without further ado, I welcome to you Healing Hands. Um, really quickly about the agenda, today we're going to go over the Health Museum, what the Healing Arts Program is about the Healing Hands exhibition and more rules and details about that. And at the very end, we're going to open up the floor to any questions or comments that you may have. Okay, so today we will be introducing the Health Museum and the new initiative called the Healing Arts Program. So in the heart of Houston, the Health Museum inspires passion and curiosity in health, the medical sciences, and the human body. With over 2.5 million visitors, we are the most interactive and popular science center learning center of its kind and a favorite among Houstonians since 1962. We recently celebrated our 50th birthday with the mission to foster wonder and curiosity about health, medical science, and the human body. And the overarching vision to empower healthier living. And as a part of the museum's expansion, I'm thrilled to introduce to you the Healing Arts Program at the Health Museum. So this is a new initiative that explores the intersections of art, culture, and medicine to ultimately reduce harm, relieve social suffering, and promote healthy behaviors. By integrating literature and creative therapies and arts research into our offerings, we aim to foster a holistic approach to well-being that empowers healthier living for individuals and communities through the transformative power of the arts. So here are some examples of programming since the inception of the Healing Arts Program, which was just in February of this year. We had the Healing Art of Storytelling, where we had storytelling time for young adults and also children that talked about different ways to cope with emotions, different ways to cope with anxiety. We had hosted Off Script in our theater, which is pulling heartstrings. We offer face painting, our healing dream catcher at the Kite Festival, and also rock painting for Donate Life Month. So there's a bunch of different ways that we can approach healing arts, and this exhibition is one of them. So for more about the Healing Hands exhibition, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been a caregiver for a loved one or somebody else's family? Do you have artwork that reflects this journey of care? And if so, we invite you to participate in our upcoming exhibition, Healing Hands, Caregivers Expressions on Mental Wellness. Healing Hands really aims to expand what it means to be a caregiver by showcasing creative talents from the community while exploring the theme of mental wellness. The bigger question here is, how do caregivers take care of themselves to be able to take care of others? And those are the stories that I want to hear. Those are the stories that the community wants to hear. And the community wants to see your work exhibited at the Health Museum. So with that in mind, let me share with you a timeline as dates are quickly approaching. So first is the call for artwork. This is the season that we are in right now, and that the call for artwork will close on June 23rd, 2024, which is a Sunday night. And once everybody submits their artwork and their applications, all of that will be moved over to a jury. The jury consists of people from the medical perspective, from the health perspective, from the arts perspective, and all have had experience with the arts, but had also had some intersections with health too. So I'm really glad to share that jury list with you, and we'll be announcing everything online too. So once the juries do grade the applications and that selection process is over, we will announce the artists that will be invited to the museum at the end of July. And very important here, if you are invited to exhibit at the Health Museum, the drop off of your artwork is the last week of July, the first week of August, which is July 30th to August 3rd. So it is a 3-day window. And if you're not able to do it, I would encourage you to try to coordinate with somebody close to you to drop off the artwork. It doesn't have to be you, just the artwork has to be dropped off at that time. For the opening reception, this is more of like a member preview. The first time anybody gets to see the artwork, all of the artists who make it will be able to come to the preview party on August 9th, which is a Friday. And the most exciting part is that if you are selected, you will have your artwork at the Health Museum for 6 months. So it will be on view from August 9th till February 2024. And knowing all of this, let's get into some more details. Okay, my next question is, who is considered a caregiver? I'm going to spend some time on this slide, if that's okay. So caregivers are considered as individuals who are employed or contracted to provide professional caregiving services to individuals with healthcare needs, including but not limited to physicians, nurses, home health aides, and personal care attendants, creative therapists, behavioral therapists, counselors, technicians, everybody who works in the healthcare sector serving a sick one or somebody who is ill is considered a caregiver. And if you are a working professional, I hope I captured everybody here, but just know that the list is endless. And this also actually captures medical students who are learning how to be caregivers too. So moving on, this is really where I want everybody to open up their mind about who a caregiver is. Unpaid caregivers, which include family members or individuals providing physical, emotional, or logistical support to a loved one or a friend with a chronic illness, disability, or aging related needs. They are all eligible to participate. So what we're really saying here is that at some point, everybody plays the role as a caregiver. Mothers, fathers, sisters, daughters, sons, grandmothers, close friends, neighbors. We all take care of each other in the community during hard times. So for me personally, I would consider my time as a caregiver, I think about 2 main times of my life. Whenever I was a caregiver for my mother, whenever she was going through cancer treatment at MD Anderson, I was her primary caregiver at the time. And also, whenever I was a registered behavioral therapist for children and adults on the spectrum, I played a role as their caregiver to make sure that they reached their clinical needs. So I encourage you to think about this and think about this time from when you were a caregiver. What did you have to do to be the best version of yourself, to be strong and to be healthy, and to help others be strong and healthy during the challenge in their life? And during this time, this includes providing emotional support, like I mentioned a moment ago, giving a phone call to check in, logistical support, such as coordinating rides and doctor's visits and calendars, and more than that. So during this time that you were a caregiver, what did you do for self-care? Did you write or did you paint? Did you compose or choreograph anything? That is what we want to see. That is what the community wants to see. And all of this whole exhibition is our way of caring for the caregiver and highlighting those stories. Through these stories, we can connect with others who walk similar paths and help encourage them to get through times that that may be a little bit difficult, but we do have the community to lean on. So if you're on this call, I hope this is you. So let's move on to some rules and eligibility. So all applicants must be residents of Houston and at least 18 years old to apply. So when this call first went out, it was 21, but after talking with my team, we opened it up to 18 so we can invite medical students, college students, young adults to also apply. Collective entries must designate one lead artist to submit. So you can be a group who created artwork. You can be, let's say, a therapist and a patient. If you created something together, you can submit that artwork. You must be a resident of Houston. So since this is a community exhibition, we really want to see the diversity in Houston. And what does Houston have to say about their caregivers? So individual applicants may submit up to 2 different artworks, and we'll get into more details about that. And all the artwork submitted must be created in the past 10 years and during the time in which you were a caregiver. For every submission that comes through, it will be reviewed by the Health Museum staff for eligibility, just to make sure you check all the boxes. And all of the entries that are eligible will be moved on to the juror selection process, and finalists will be notified at the end of July. Okay. So the call for artwork, we are open to seeing everything, whatever your artistic medium is. If you're a visual artist and you made some visual artwork, this includes paintings, drawings, sculptures, photography, mixed media. And the only requirement that we ask for this is that the artwork should not exceed 40 inches in any direction. If your artwork is a little bit larger than that, please email me. We are open to creativity, so we just want to see what's out there. Anything small, we do ask that it is at least 10 inches, which is pretty reasonable. For music and performance, we are looking for songs, instrumentals, dance recordings, theater acts, and also recorded performances. The Health Museum is able to accommodate this because we do have a bunch of screens here at the museum, and we have our own McGovern Theater. So all musical entries and all performance entries will have the opportunity to be played in the McGovern Theater here at the Health Museum, which is super exciting. And the only thing we ask here is that if you do submit a video or a trailer, don't let it last more than 3 minutes, because this does have to go through a jury process. It does have to go through the Health Museum staff to view. If you do have something that is much longer, let's say you're a director of a movie, and the movie can either be 20 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, please email me. We are open to creativity so we can see what's possible and what would work. But for the submission itself, please submit a trailer or a video less than 3 minutes. And do that via a link. If you have a link to a YouTube or if you have a link to a Vimeo, that would be the best format for you to share your work. As far as literature, we are looking for poetry, short stories, book excerpts, and the length of that should not exceed 5-minute read. And that's roughly about 650 words. Like I said, and I want to repeat myself here a lot, we are open to creativity. So if you have a whole novel, give us just an abstract of what that novel is. Like, what can you say in 650 words about your novel? What can you say in that many words about your short story if your short story isn't like a child's book? We really want to know. So the format that this will be accommodated into at the museum will be kind of like a Kindle. So where guests who do come to the museum, just so you know, the guests who do come here to the museum, they spend at most 5 minutes per activity. So that's kind of where we got the 5-minute read, the 3-minute video. So we capture the attention of our guest and they get the whole story. I hope that makes sense. And of course, if you have any questions, please email me and I'll have my email at the very end of this. Out of all of this, we do encourage you to come to the Health Museum so you can get a thorough understanding of the experience that we want to give to our guests. Right now, the museum is closed, but we be open back next week, the second week of June, and we will have our new exhibit in called Mindworks on July 15th. Oh, June 15th. I apologize. So with Mindworks in talking about psychology, talking about mental wellness, I really encourage you to come see this exhibit so you can understand the guest experience and understand what would be suitable to submit to fit on the walls at the Health Museum. And over all of that, whatever the artwork is, whether it's visual arts, music, performance, or literature, they must provide personal stories, insights, or perspectives on the mental wellness or mental health of caregiving. So just looking at those two intersections. Okay, so artwork details. These questions that I have here on the screen are going to be the questions that the jurors are going to grade your applications on. For instance, please describe how you are a caregiver. You only have 100 words to do this, so just talk about that time. Describe how you're an artist. You don't have to identify as an artist, but if you create during that time, that means at that time you were an artist. Same thing for a caregiver. At that time, you were a caregiver. And then about your artwork, provide a brief abstract, less than 100 words, summarizing the concept of your artwork. And then building upon that abstract, how does this artwork show the mental health journey of your caregiving experience? So to summarize that a little bit more, I encourage you to provide in less than 100 words a summary of what you are submitting, and then connect that to how this supported your mental health as a caregiver. If anything, this part of the application may take the longest for you to fill out, and it's only 4 questions. So if you have that idea in mind, that full thought out idea, just think about it and fill it out in these 4 questions, okay? Describe how you are a caregiver, describe how you're an artist, describe your artwork and how your artwork relates to your experience as a caregiver and taking care of yourself as a caregiver. Again, these are the questions that the jurors will grade your applications on to see if it will fit in our museum. And anything that's going to be on the walls of our museum must be family friendly and open to the general public, because we have all ages who come through this museum. Okay, so a little bit more about the artwork guidelines. Anything that you submit must be an original piece of artwork. Visual artworks must not exceed 40 inches in any direction. Literature must not exceed a 5-minute read. Performances must not exceed 3 minutes. And that is for the link that you shared with me. Again, if you have something that kind of doesn't fit in these parameters, please email me and let's talk about it, okay? Signatures are encouraged on all of your artwork, and the artwork must not share anything that indicates personal health information of your patient. If it's about yourself, that is different. But if you're submitting something about somebody that you worked with, something that indicates like, hey, I know exactly what patient that they're talking about, that would not be eligible. We do want to protect the rights of the people who are ill and the people who are sick. If you have photography as the piece of artwork that you submit, likely photographs of the person who's sick may not make it through. However, if you just have hands, or if you have feet, or if you have clothes, or something that resembles a person that is not their face, then that would be eligible. And of course, all artwork must be suitable for all ages and align with the Health Museum mission, just curiosity about health, about mental health, about caregiving. Okay, and now for the submission process. We are using JotForm to collect submissions, and this is the first time that we're using JotForm. So if you have any problems using the platform, feel free to email me. Email me your answers, email me your images, and we will process your application. For visual and literary arts, you have up to 3 images to upload on JotForm. And visual art must not exceed 40 inches. We will ask you the size of the artwork. Um, Literature must be submitted in PDF format. And for any audio or visual links, um, there is a space for you to share the link with us. And it can be a YouTube link, it can be a Vimeo link. And just try to make sure that whatever we're about to watch is no longer than 3 minutes. And ultimately, the last day to apply for this call for artwork is June 23rd, 2024. Okay, terms and conditions. All the artwork that you submit must be, you must be the creator of that artwork. Groups or collectives must assign one person to submit that artwork. All of the art must not include any logos and no branding. Eligible entries will be reviewed by a panel of jurors, and finalists will be notified and announced at the end of July. If your artwork is chosen, you are responsible for arranging delivery and pickup of your artwork. Late deliveries may not be accepted without permission in writing to me, the Healing Arts Program Manager. All entries must be tastefully rendered for public viewing of all ages. Questionable or non-relevant material or subjects will result in being disqualified. And that is all at the discretion of the staff at the Health Museum. Entries that do not meet the requirements may be rejected. Again, if you have some work that is outside of the parameters that we talked about, please email me and get the permission from me in writing that is okay, so that the jurors know that you had an exception and you had permission to submit your application. So we are open to creativity. If you have any questions about your content, if you have any questions about whether you're not sure if this artwork is right to submit for this, please email me. We are open to creativity, so let's make it work. And lastly, applicants must not share any excessive or indicating personal health information in their submission. The privacy and dignity of individuals, including patients and family members, must be respected. Any information shared should be done so with the understanding that it may be displayed publicly as a part of the exhibition and promoted in our marketing. An applicant should ensure that they are comfortable sharing this information. And that are the terms. Let me move on to the next. This is the exciting part, the winning entries. So there are 2 chances to win in this community exhibition. We will have our jurors' choice, where our jurors will select their favorite art pieces that really capture the essence of the show, which is taking care of the caregiver, the mental wellness journey of the caregiver. A part of that is the story, a part of that is the quality of the artwork. So definitely try to balance the 2 together. And the winning artist will be able to work with the Amazing Body Store here at the Health Museum to reprint their artwork on some merchandise like tote bags or stickers, whatever you decide to work, whatever you decide to reprint your work on with the Amazing Body Store. And they'll receive special rewards from the Health Museum. It is a surprise what it is, so I don't want to share too much details. Honorable mentions, so maybe not the winners. Right now it's 3 winners. I did not put that on here, but there will be 3 winners. Honorable mentions will receive rewards from the Health Museum as well. And that is for the jurors' choice. And the jurors' choice will be announced at the opening reception on August 9th. However, Since this exhibition is going to be up for 6 months, we want the community to also vote for their favorite pieces. So throughout the entirety of the exhibition, we will have voting systems in place. So anybody who walks through those halls may vote for their favorite art piece. And this will be open to online voting too. So if you win the community's choice, you will receive the same reward as the juror's choice. And what that means, there's going to be 3 community's choice winners. Those community choice winners will be invited to work with the Amazing Body Store to reprint that artwork on some merchandise in our store to sell at the museum. How cool is that? And they'll also receive special rewards from the Health Museum too. So I hope this is an incentive to get you to apply, to get your artwork out there, to get your name out there, to get your story out there, because the community wants to see it. They want to hear it. Okay, so now we have reached our questions and answers. Really quickly, I wanted to go over some questions that were submitted already. So as an individual artist, am I allowed to submit 2 pieces of artwork in one applications? The pieces I have in mind develop a beautiful meaning when presented together. The answer here is yes. If 2 pieces of artwork are meant to go together, I would consider that one piece. And I would explain this in the artwork description. For instance, if you have 2 10 by 10 pieces that go together, they match together, they're supposed to be together. That is one piece. Just explain that in the description. However, if you have pieces of work that have its own meaning and their own story, I would submit these 2 as different applications because they are telling 2 different stories. Is it acceptable to have my signature on my artwork? Of course. We actually encourage you to put your signature on your artwork. It is yours. Let's say you had to get special permissions because you didn't quite meet the parameters. How do you submit that communication? I would suggest taking a screenshot of the communication, whether it's email. It will most likely be email. That is the best way. Take a screenshot of that and upload that in your application so no questions are asked. So those are the questions that I have for Q&A, but I wanted to open up the floor to see if there are any additional questions from anybody in the audience. Oh, here we go. Will we get a copy of how to submit? Let me share the link with how to submit in the chat. And also all of these details, this whole presentation and this recording will be available on our website too, on the Health Museum's website. And I'm gonna quickly just share the job form so you're familiar with what it looks like. It's super user-friendly. I'm really happy that we're using this system. So the job form goes over all the questions that we asked with some contact information questions. So all of the personal information that we asked will be confidential. And we ask them because there are some requirements that we just kind of have to check the boxes for. So your born year, we're not asking for your whole birthday. We just want to know when, like the year you were born. Your address, and that's just to make sure that we know you're in Houston or in one of the surrounding areas. We want to know a little bit about our audience, so we are going to ask some demographic questions. And then it goes into the artwork information. The title of artwork, type, artwork year, describe how you are a caregiver, how you are an artist, the dimensions, and materials and instruments used. There is room for the artwork personal statements, any links you're ready to share, and then the upload entries. Our idea when we created this job form was that we want to make it easy. We want to make it accessible for anybody to apply, and it's not supposed to be a burden. It's supposed to be super accessible because we do want people to apply. And since it's the first time that we are doing it, the best way to do it is to make it as easy as possible for you. Yeah, are there any more questions? All right. Well, I don't see any more questions, but I'm so glad that we got to spend this time together. Oh, one more question. As far as applicants, do they have to live in Houston proper? Um, I'm not sure what proper means, but they do have to live in Houston or one of the surrounding cities in Houston, such as Sugar Land or Katy, or the Woodlands. So just Houston and the greater area. Well, thank y'all so much. I'm going to end it here, but if you have, if anything comes up, you have any questions, please email me, rtylinski at thehealthmuseum.com. And thank you so much. I cannot wait to see everybody's submissions and the story that we're all going to tell as a community. So yeah, get creating. Thanks, everybody.